Alright, here's a challenge here. The front patio, the plants here in this section are overgrown. The barrels, the whiskey barrels that were purchased initially have just busted. The bands have rusted and broke. Some of these other plants are just a little growing over here. And this whole section here needs to be fixed. Got about 8 feet of space here, so I found a solution that should work out quite well and make this area a little bit more attractive visually. So here's the solution. It's a cedar planter box, about 48 inches in length by about 15 high by about 15 deep. This is one of two that I just assembled. I may make a few adjustments here. I'll apply some water seal, maybe some cleats on the bottom to raise the height a little bit. Then a series of pots can be placed inside, or certainly other alternatives here. Alright, here we have the finished project. So it's a nice rectangular planter with some drainage holes and removable panels in the bottom. So let's see how we go ahead and assemble this here. This is a finished product. Basically, it'll come to you flat packed in a box. All you really need either is a drill or a screwdriver. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and remove the components here, the panels, the screws, the hardware, and so forth, and start to show you how to assemble it. Very easy. Alright, so here are the contents of this particular kit, and I'll put a link in the description here. You've got a couple of the long side panels, right? 1 and 2. Go ahead and set all the different components aside. You've got a pair of end panels here, 1 and 2. You've got the hardware, the screws. There are a couple of different lengths here, instructions. And then you've got the 3 bottom panels. There's a small one and 2 longer ones. The 2 longer ones have the drainage holes here and little finger holes to remove the panels. Notice that there's a underside and a top. And that's it. Let's go ahead and get into the assembly here. Alright, as you go ahead and proceed to assemble this, there are a couple of things to be mindful of. One of which is on the side and end panels, one side is flat, which is the bottom. The other side has a routed kind of edge, which is the top. In fact, there are a few stickers in a few places indicating the top, just so you don't make the mistake. You want to make sure that, again, the routed side with the decorative edge is up, and the flat side, the absolute flat side, is down for the bottom. You'll do the same on the end panels here. Here you go. This one has a sticker on it indicating top, right? It's got the routed edge here, the bevel, if you will, and the bottom is completely flat. You're also going to notice there are 2 lengths of screws as you assemble this. There's a shorter set of screws and a longer set of screws. The short set of screws go from the short panels, the small panels, into the long panels. The long screws go when you're attaching the long panels into the short panels. So we'll see what I mean. Go ahead and take one of the long panels here. Make sure you identify and orient the top edge. Get one of your end panels, and the same thing. Make sure you have the top. You're going to see that the edges kind of interlock, and you want to make sure you also make it as flush as you can here before you put the screw in. Now this is a short panel. There's a screw hole you'll see to connect the short panel into the long one, another screw hole to connect the long panel into the short one. Now the long screws go through the short panels into the long panels. The short screws go from the long panels into the short ones. Here's what I mean. Get one of each out here. Okay, there's one short screw. There's a long screw. The long screw is going to connect the long panel into the short panel. The short screw is going to connect the short panel into the long one. Okay, so we've got a short screw in the pre-drilled hole going through the short panel into the long panel. Make sure again it's flush at the top. I'll be a little bit more concerned that it's flush at the top than at the bottom, because the top is going to be the visible side. You might need a helper to assist you and hold everything together. You want to make sure you send the screw straight in. Make sure everything's flush, and send that screw straight in. And you can go ahead and countersink the screw head in just slightly. Okay? And again, here's the other side. I'm connecting the short panel here to the long panel. The short screws from the short panels into the long panels. And then we'll come back around and send the long screws. Okay, there we go. Long screw, and these screws, the holes are designed so that the screws shouldn't cross within the wood. They should just miss each other. Here's a long screw going from the long panel into the short one. Just make sure you're driving it straight. There you go. Okay, and here on the other side, long screw, long panel in the short one. Okay, go ahead and flip it around, and we're going to repeat the process. Again, make sure you have the beveled edge here. You'll see it's marked top on the side, the end panels. The beveled edge the same. The other side is a flat side. Make sure it's flush at the top. It's tight. You can pre-screw in the screws. The short screws connect the short panels to the long ones. Okay, nice and flush. And drill it straight in. And same for your other side.